Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, customer webinar today. Everybody attending is an Evolution Marketing client, and today we're going to be talking about Sugar's marketing automation platform called Sugar Market. During the presentation today, we'll be covering a little bit of sort of information around what is marketing automation, why is it important, how can you use it, and we'll be also doing a demonstration of Sugar Market so you can see actually what the product looks like. Before we get into demonstrating the product, just a quick explanation of what is marketing automation. It's a term that you may have heard of. Obviously, it's something that we're talking to customers about quite a bit at the moment. And also, obviously, companies like Sugar are releasing products. Sugar Marketing, according to marketing automation, according to Wikipedia, refers to the software, platforms and technologies that are designed for marketing departments and organizations to more effectively across multiple channels online, such as your email, social media, websites, and automate all the repetitive tasks. I've highlighted multiple channels online because a lot of businesses are familiar with email marketing. You might already be doing that. Many of our customers do email marketing. But what marketing automation does is it helps you market across all those other digital channels that are becoming more and more important, and it automates all the repetitive tasks that are associated with it. One key statistic around why we need to be talking about marketing automation in business is this one is a very good one. This relates to business buyers, where their buying behavior has changed quite a bit, and this has happened since the time of the internet becoming more prevalent, particularly as we've gotten, broadband has become ubiquitous, and people have got mobile devices, and everyone's online 24/7, pretty much. And the big trend is that the amount of research buyers are doing before even contacting your firm. So 70% of the research phase is being done before they'll reach out. So when they are reaching out to your firm, they've usually got a pretty good idea that you are the one to help them, and they're not reaching out to inquire whether or not you can help them or not. So there's a lot of that researching and decision making that's happening before your salespeople are getting the opportunity to have a conversation with customers. This other statistic from Gartner I found to be very, very interesting. And this is the amount of time customers, when they are spending time with your salespeople, how much time they're also spending on your website. So you can see across the various stages in the decision-making process, where a customer might have identified a problem, they might move to solution exploration, requirements building, supply selection, validation, and consensus creation within their organization about who they're going to use, that they're spending a very equal amount of time with the supplier's sales rep as well as the supplier's website. So again, this sort of reinforces the need to support sales organizations with providing your customers with digital information, or delivering that information in a digital way, because that's where they're consuming it. Obviously, the website is a really important part of that. You might think, why are we talking about websites when it comes to marketing automation? It's one, because it's so heavily trafficked by customers. Two, it's often forgotten by sales organizations. I think the website is sort of seen as an online brochure, but it's not seen as integral to the sales methodology in the same way that perhaps customer visits or other parts of the the sales process might be. So it's kind of not really thought about a lot by sales. It is obviously thought highly of by the customers when they're doing the research. And also, when it comes to marketing automation, the website is really important. It's critical to have content on the website that provides information that the customers are looking for. And this is the sort of information sales are often very good at coming up with, whether that's customer stories or examples of work that you've done, or articles about problems you solve, or things of that nature. The website is a repository for all that content. We have known for a long time, that having a good amount of content on the website helps with search engine optimization and things like that, attracting visitors to the site. But even the customers that will use your website to get more information about what you do, and prospective customers that are researching solutions will also use that. So we need to have good content on the website. The customers are demanding it, and it ties very nicely into the marketing automation piece, which we'll demonstrate in a moment. The interesting thing is that according to Gartner, the best work in digital selling is not actually happening within sales departments, but rather within marketing. Now, this is not to say that that the marketing is a replacement for the sales organization, but it's saying that there is a marketing role within the sales team. A digital marketing role within the sales team. I've seen some clients either have people in those roles or take people that are adept with digital marketing from sales roles and give them more focus on the digital side of the business, and responsibilities around the website and content creation, and also marketing automation. But there is definitely a need. In fact, you can't really be successful with marketing automation unless you have somebody that's responsible for the digital selling part of the business, digital selling and marketing part of the business. So we'll go into what those requirement, or what those responsibilities would be for somebody who's using a product like SugarMarket. The interesting thing for anyone who is in a digital marketing role is how complicated it can be. They're often using multiple tools. They've got everyone here has got a CRM system, but it's very common to hear clients that are like exporting contacts out of the CRM and uploading it into MailChimp, and then sending broadcasts, and then they've got leads coming from the website that are being distributed via email, and we're hoping the salespeople follow that up, and then the marketing people are trying to determine which of those leads converted, and did they generate any revenue, and there's a lot of different tools, there's a lot of information going. The systems are very disconnected, and the digital marketing person often spends more time keeping the system going than actually doing the marketing and running the campaigns. So it's a very complicated and confusing role because of the amount of tools and how disconnected they are. I saw this quote last night, actually, and I just thought it really relates to this point. And it's: marketing is 1% great ideas, 4% executing them, and 95% logistical operations, meaning making sure that all the stuff that nobody sees doesn't break. And it's not, and I've heard a number of marketing people say that, and I think that really relates to that previous slide where they're doing a lot of those things. And really, we don't want people doing 95% logistical operations. We want them doing running campaigns and improving those campaigns. The next slide, before we've got two more to go, this one and one more, I think, before we get into the product, is the sorts of tools that are combined into the one product with a marketing automation tool like SugarMarket. So what we have here is a customer journey, and I'm just going to explain a user case of the sorts of things that marketing automation will help you do, and it'll give you a bit of an idea of how this might apply in your business. So a very typical thing is that a prospective customer, or even an existing customer, when they're considering about another project or another purchase, will visit your website. Now, if they ring your business, well, you know who they are. But if they visit your website, that's an anonymous visit. If you look inside your Google Analytics, you might see that you had 100 or 1,000 or 10 visitors today, but you don't know who those people are. Marketing automation will actually tell you who many of those visitors are, which we'll come to. But initially, when anyone who visits your website, the marketing automation, we put a bit of code in your website, and that will put a cookie on the visitor's device. And we're then able to track all the visits that device has on anywhere on your website. At some point, we want to convert that unknown visitor to a known contact. And marketing automation allows us to have little forms within your website. So there could be a little form where they can download some content or get access to a video or something like that. You've probably filled in these forms from time to time on other websites when you wanted to get access to information. As soon as they do that and we get their contact details, they become a known contact. That contact then ends up in the marketing automation, and we have their details. So they're a contact record. And then we can, because we have their email address, we can email them. Now, we can use that in a number of ways. So, if they've just requested to access a piece of content, the marketing automation will send them an email with a link to it. So it also gives us the ability to do any email broadcasting to people as well, based on their information being captured in the system. The next thing it allows us to do is to do nurtures, and I'm going to demonstrate this in the product. So nowadays, historically in sales, you would get a lead and somebody who is perhaps interested, and they may not. A lot of those times people aren't ready to make a decision at the time that they call, and they need to be followed up. And you would do follow-up phone calls, for a period of time and chase that lead down. For people who are accessing content on your website, they're not ready, and we know from that earlier statistic that oftentimes they're not ready to reach out to you. They'll reach out to you sort of when they're mostly decided. But we want to have an opportunity to continue to educate and influence that person. And the best way to do that is with an email nurture sequence. So when they fill in the form on the website to get some content, then we have a series of emails that will be drip fed over to them over time. So that might be like one email a week for 6 weeks. It might be one email a month for 12 months. If they're getting 6 or 12 emails a year, then that's 6 or 12 opportunities for you to remind them about you. And because it's happening over time, you've got much more chances of catching them at the moment where they are ready. And in many cases, if you're providing good content, that you're actually building a relationship with them where you're helping them through while they're considering what their options are, by learning more about your product and why it's different and what you can do for them. So when you do strike them at the right time, often they can just reply back to that email and say, yes, I'm ready to chat. And then that goes to the salesperson, and away you go. So nurturing is a really critical piece of marketing automation. This is like one of the top reasons why you'd invest in marketing automation. If you think of all your customers or prospects were in some sort of nurture sequence, getting X number of emails per year, that's a lot of marketing that's being done automatically. A lot of marketing that you're doing and all automated. What happens with that process is there's a scoring engine inside of marketing automation, and that just scores the engagement of people with your marketing. If somebody's visiting your website, maybe that's every page they look at on the website might be 1 point. If they get into some particular pages, you might weight those pages as getting 5 or 10 points. If they open an email, it's 1 point. If they click on a link, it's 5 points. If they download some content, it's 20 points. If they attend a webinar, it's 40 points. These sorts of things. And what's happening is the more they're engaging and the more meaningful those engagements are, the higher their score is. And then what happens then is you can set rules in the system that once it hits a certain score, that even though that person may not have reached out to you, it might actually be ready for you to reach out to them. So you can put rules in there that, the score, say, hits 100 on its engagement score, it will push that to the CRM. Now, there's a lot of control over the CRM integration. So you can, somebody can, fill in the contact us form on your website. Well, then that would push immediately to the CRM. It might also send them an email. It might also, put them into a nurture sequence as well, potentially. Once a record has been pushed to the CRM, it can handle all the alerting phase. So it can alert the salesperson. It can also, you have flexibility as to who it's assigned to. So if the lead was in, WA, it might automatically assign to the WA salesperson. We'd also send them an alert. And then that salesperson then can get inside of CRM or they can respond from the email if they like, or they can also log into CRM and see some more information about the lead, which I'll demonstrate to you. And finally, the reporting is very good. The key thing with like the reporting is not only does it tell you the things that you're used to seeing, like how many emails have been opened and, you know, what time of day or what was the bounce, you know, how many of those emails bounced back because the emails were incorrect or any of those sorts of standard things. What it can really help us is on the return on investment. And that's because it links into the sales opportunity module in your CRM. If you have a lead that comes through and converts, so it makes it through all this process, the salesperson contacts it, creates an opportunity, and then the opportunity is closed and won, we can attribute that the revenue or the value of that closed won sales opportunity to marketing automation or to a specific campaign that you've done. That could be PPC, you know, if you've been advertising in Facebook or LinkedIn or Google or something like that, or a particular outbound email marketing campaign that you've done to, you know, promote a product to your existing customers. We can attribute the actual revenue that you've generated as a result of those activities. So that's a really powerful feature. Before we getting into the product, the thing to keep in mind is marketing automation can be used across the whole customer life cycle. So what we have here is a bit of a customer life stage, you know, going from left when they're a new customer or a prospective customer. There's a lot of marketing that you can do. Even when they become a customer, you can send them a new welcome campaign. You can automatically put them into a customer newsletter list, invite them to provide feedback. There's a lot of things you can do when they're using a product or when they're finished using a product, to sort of help drive, as it says, upsell and cross-sell revenue, and then even retain them over time. And a good example is like a win-back campaign. If you lost a deal, perhaps automatically they get an email that's sent out to them in 12 months time, or 3 months time, with an offer or something of that nature. So there's a lot of things you can do that can be automated across the campaigns that you can do, not just about trying to get new business, about how you can provide helpful information to your customers, existing customers, based on where they are in your customer life cycle. So getting into SugarMarket now. So SugarMarket is Sugar's product, marketing automation product. Many people on the call will be, everyone's using Sugar CRM on today's webinar. You'll either be using Sugar Sell or perhaps Sugar Pro or Sugar Enterprise. Sugar has basically broken their product into 3 now. So there's a marketing piece, a sales piece, and a customer service piece. So you will perhaps be using Sugar Sell for your sales piece, and then we're talking about Sugar Marketing as the marketing piece, and then there's Sugar Serve as the customer service piece. All these 3 pieces are really well integrated. It's a good strategy that Sugar's got. It's actually, of all the products I've worked with, it's probably one of the most tightly integrated across the board. So it's a really good platform. So with that said, let's jump in and have a look at SugarMarket, and I'll show you what the product looks like and some of its key features. Like Sugar, SugarMarket has a dashboard, and this is mostly showing marketing metrics. Now, SugarMarket is actually mostly going to be used by the person responsible for the digital marketing features in your business. All your CRM users would not be accessing this. Now, obviously you could, you get 3 users of SugarMarket. Most of our clients, or in most cases, you might have 1 or 2 people from the marketing side of the business that would actually be using this and working with these dashboards. The dashboards are showing mostly marketing related things, number of new leads or conversions, number of emails delivered this week and last week, and what the delivered rate and the bounce rate, the sorts of things that you would typically want to see. What the open rate is, 38% open rate's quite good, and 8% click-through rate's quite good for that campaign. This is actually the campaign for this for the webinar that we're on today, and you can go through and sort of see the sorts of data you'd want to normally see to work out how well your marketing campaigns were performing. And you can also drill down into those particular reports and get all the underlying information. The next thing that it also does is it links with the CRM in a way that allows you to build any type of list that you like. Now, this is not particularly interesting to look at, so I'll just talk to the point, but you can see there's a bunch of different lists here that have got a differing amount of contacts. What you want to do in business and from a marketing perspective is typically say, I want to contact all the people that are this, 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 and not this. Now, that data typically resides in the CRM. So that might be all our customers in Victoria. We want to send all our customers and prospects in Victoria. Now, obviously there's a lockdown happening at the time of this webinar, so there might be something that you want to communicate to those people, whether it's something that's sympathetic or details about how to contact you during this time, or that you're still currently operating. Now, that information is only relevant to the people that are perhaps in Victoria, so you could do that very easy to create a list. But almost any type of list that we want to create, if we have the data, that we can do, and we can target those people very specifically. The next thing that I'd like to show you is something that's very standard with email marketing. And marketing automation is very strong on the email marketing side of things. And I've got a statistic at the end of the webinar I'll show you about how effective email marketing still is. Like we hear a lot about social media and other forms of marketing. Email marketing is still the highest return on investment form of marketing for business. So when you are doing email marketing, you want to have professional looking emails, and you want them to be easy to build, and you don't want to have to go to a web designer to build those. Now, this is one of our newsletter templates, and these are all just made up of very simple sections. You can see when I click on this one here, I can go over here and update the content. So you don't need to be a web designer or a particularly creative person to be able to build nice looking templates. There are some pre-built templates that you can just copy from in the system. We often help clients set up their initial template when we roll it out. It should be branded so it matches your corporate identity, color scheme and your logo and that sort of thing. And then you can just, add pictures and content. So we can have like drop in an image block or put in a button, that kind of thing. So it's very easy and quick to create these templates. If you've used something like MailChimp or other email marketing tools, then you'd be very familiar with this visual builder. It's a very standard feature you have in most email marketing and obviously marketing automation tools. The next thing that I wanted to show you that is sort of an extension of the email marketing is the nurtures. So we talked about the idea that if you had somebody fill in and request some information off your website, that will want to send a series of follow-up emails over time to those people. And we do that through nurtures. The nurture builders in these products are really quite powerful. Now, we have a number of pre-built templates that we can use. So you can see the sort of interesting looking workflows on them. And they can be sort of, more or less sophisticated depending on what you want to do. But we might just start off with this very simple one, which is going to send an email, and then I'll just go into the design mode. It sends an email, and then it waits for a period of time, and then it sends a follow-up email, and it waits for a period of time, and it sends a follow-up email. So we can determine whether or not that's days or weeks or hours or minutes. And we can determine and we can select from the email builder which of those email templates that we want to add in. That's doing these things in themselves are often, powerful enough in themselves, but we can do all sorts of other things. There's all other sorts of stages that we can add in just by dragging, or other capability that we can add to the process. And what this means is that you can create the journey that you want your customers to go on very easily without having to write any code. And if you want to modify that, it's very quick and easy to do. So your digital marketers spend more time, creating things that are of value and less time sort of, playing in the tools. So in addition to be able to sort of do things like send emails and wait for periods of time, it can actually track the behavior of the people that you're marketing to, and then make decisions of what to do based on that. So if somebody does click on a particular link in your marketing campaign, then it might branch out and send it, perform another action. So an example of that is you might send a piece of marketing material with a link, and if they click on the link, well, then it goes to the next stage. But if they didn't click on the link, it will just resend the same email again, but perhaps with a different subject header or a subject line, and before then going on to the next stage. So if they missed it because they were busy, then it just sort of resends it again. Whereas if they did click on it, well, then they get the next piece of information. So yeah, it just allows us to not annoy customers and sort of, take into account the way that they're interacting with the website or with your marketing material. So yeah, we could do a whole session on the capability of this, but I think every business, should end up having a half a dozen to a dozen nurtures that are being used automatically for the different stages in the customer journey. So you've got ones for leads, you've got for people who are in sales opportunities, you've got ones that are at the point of purchase, post-purchase. You have ones for people that are actively involved in open sales opportunities. You might have ones that for when the sales opportunity, when you may have lost it. Those kinds of things that they're just automated campaigns that will automatically send relevant information to those people over time. The next thing I'd just like to show you, it's not a particularly interesting thing to look at on the screen, but it talks to the scoring capability inside of Sugar Market. Now, Sugar, if you attended Sugar Connect recently, Sugar's webinar that was on last week, you will have seen that Sugar has introduced Sugar Predict, which is a prediction on how likely your sales opportunities are going to convert when they are added to Sugar. I understand that they're going to be adding some predictions around how likely a lead is to convert. So I'm expecting that might make this a little bit obsolete, because it will just sort of tell us based on the artificial intelligence that this is a good lead. But at the moment, we're relying on lead scoring. So when certain actions happen, we can provide a score to it. So in this case, if somebody spends 1,800 seconds on the website, well, then it gets 10 points. If they look at more than 30 pages, we'll give them 20 points. If there's a single session on the website, it lasts more than 60 seconds, we give it 1 point. If they look at more than 5 pages in a single session, then we'll give it 3 points. So if a customer is doing all those things, that the points start adding up. Basically, the more time they're spending on the website, the more interested they are. When they're getting emails, if they just get an email, open the email, they get 1 point. If they click on anything, they get 3 points. And then we can provide points for if they're looking at particular landing pages or filling in forms, looking at specific pages on the website, those sorts of things. So whatever it is that they're doing that normally you can't see, we can give a point score, knowing that the higher the point score is, the more likely are that we want the salespeople to engage with that, to engage with that that lead. Now, we would generally, we've got a pretty standard way that we'll configure this for clients, and we'll generally take you through that, and it's fairly similar, and it's pretty easy to set up. This is probably the most important thing that I wanted to show you today, and this is Sugar CRM. Now, I mentioned earlier that your marketing person will be inside of Sugar Market. They're creating the campaigns that are being sent out. They're doing the email marketing, perhaps creating the nurture campaigns, things of that nature. But really, the whole point of marketing automation is it's in service of the sales organization in that so much as we want to be able to generate leads or revenue opportunities for the sales team. So in the event that a lead comes from the marketing automation, so if we reflect on that journey that I showed earlier where somebody's been on the website, filled in a form, been in a nurture campaign, gets a lead score to where they're clearly interested, then that will push that lead straight into CRM and assign it to a salesperson and alert them. That salesperson then can look up the contact in the CRM and click on the Sugar Market button there, and they get complete visibility of that person's journey up until this point. Now, the first thing that we can see is that we've got a very, very high lead score. We can see that they've got a valid email and that they're subscribed, and we can see their journey. And these are all the pages that this person has been visiting and all the emails that they have been getting and opening. So we can see this person has filled in a form. They got an invitation to a webinar. They opened that email. They went to the website and looked at these particular products. They've continued to look at, they've filled in an inquiry form. They received the newsletter. They opened that newsletter. They got another invitation to a webinar. They've opened, like, this person is very clearly engaged with your marketing. So as a salesperson, normally when you get an inquiry, you've got very little information. Now, based on the earlier research, we know that people are using your website, more and more when they're researching the decision. You can tell by what pages are looking on your website as to what most likely they're going to be specifically interested in. And when you ring that person, then you've got a bit of an idea of how that call is likely to go down and how you might approach it. So in addition to the journey, we've also got a scoring summary, which is you can see the scores that have been accumulating for the various actions that person has been taking. So you can see that they completed a form here and got 30 points, and then they've been clicking on links and getting 5 points here and there. So quite a lot of sort of high value actions that this particular person's been taking. We can see what lists that this person is on. So if you have some regular marketing lists, like a customer list, and they're in that list, they would be on here. This tells the salesperson generally what sort of marketing this person might be getting. The other great thing that it does is it introduces marketing features into the hands of the salespeople. So if a salesperson is talking to a lead or working with a prospect on a sales opportunity and they'd like to send them some information, the marketing team can build up some nice professional looking email templates like we demonstrated earlier, and those can be made available to the salespeople to be able to send to customers. So for example, if the customer was talking about, your salesperson was talking to one of your prospective customers about a particular product and wanted to send them some information, they could select a template and insert it. This isn't a product one here, but they could insert that, type a custom subject heading and hit send. Now that email will be attached in CRM, but that customer gets a very professional looking template, and they can still, type in, personalize it, John, here is the info I mentioned. That kind of thing. So there's different sort of templates that you could have and a space to sort of personalize them as well. So that gives a very professional level of presentation to your salespeople to be able to deliver to your customers. Requires almost no work from them, and it will really differentiate you when you're dealing with the customers by delivering that quality information so quickly. The next one is really a really important feature as well for salespeople, which is what nurtures that this contact is in. So if we mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, if somebody filled in a form, they might be in a lead nurture. They might be getting 1 email per month for 12 months, say. But they might have they may have replied. What happens often, this has been our experience and other clients, clients will get those emails and then just go, maybe they're 6 months in and they just go, oh, actually, we do need that. And they'll just reply back saying, actually, good timing. We were just discussing this. Could you give us a call? Because we're quite interested. So, and the other thing that's very powerful with the email marketing is we can set, when the emails are sent out from your system, we can make the from address anything you like. Now, it could just be from something generic, like sales@yourorganisation.com.au. But what we do a lot of is we make it the from address, the email address of the person that the lead is assigned to. So, if John is the salesperson for Victoria and this is a Victorian lead, all these nurture leads are going to be coming from John at yourcompanyname.com.au. So if the customer replies back to that email, it goes to John. Like, John doesn't even know this is happening. The person's anonymously come to the website, filled in a form, is in a nurture. They've been following it for 6 months, and then they go, right, I need to talk to these guys, and they'll be like, hi, John. Yeah, actually, we are pretty keen for product X. Can you give us a call when you get a minute? And then John will go, okay, great. Then they'll come into CRM, look at the journey. Okay, this person's been looking on the website and opening emails. Oh, they're in the this particular nurture campaign, and that will help them sort of understand like how the lead was being generated. And if it gets to a situation where they are talking to somebody and that person is not ready to make a decision at the moment, and the salesperson wants to put them into a nurture sequence, they can add them to a nurture. So, for example, they could be dealing with a lead and then go and they've identified that that person is interested in a particular product or service, but they're not ready to make a decision. They said, oh, look, we're looking at doing something in the next 6 to 12 months. The salesperson can say, no problem, I'll add you to a nurture. And they can select at what stage in the nurture. So they might, if there's 10 stages in it, they might want to start them halfway through, or they might want to put them at the beginning, and they can then hit add, and that will put them in the nurture. Now that can be for leads or for contacts. So, and that gives the salesperson control over how the marketing will then do all the automatic following up. And as I mentioned earlier, all the emails from those nurtures will be coming from their address. So the way the salesperson can frame it when they're talking to the customer is, look, okay, no problem that you're not ready at the moment. What I'll do is I'll just update you in our system, and we send out some follow-ups, with some information from time to time that you'll find helpful. Those emails will be from me. And you should find that information, quite relevant. And, if you've got any questions at any stage, just reply back to the email, and happy to jump on a call whenever you're ready. So you don't have to say to the customer, oh, well, I will follow you up in 6 months. We automate it. We drop them into a nurture sequence, and you're not going to ring that person 12 times a year, but the marketing automation will send 12 emails a year, and the customer can just reply back when they're ready. And the salesperson does no work, but they spend their time responding to people who are actually putting their hand up saying that they're interested. So nurturing, super critical for salespeople to be able to drop people, see what nurtures somebody's in, and to drop them into them, themselves. And the other thing is, we can see what opportunities, the marketing automation can see what opportunities people are in, and often you can put people into particular nurture campaigns because they're related to an opportunity as well. So people who are looking at doing business with you, there's maybe a series of information that you want to send to them when they're at that particular stage of a decision. So that's probably the most important feature, I think, with marketing automation is the ability for it to be able to provide information to sales and to empower sales with the ability to do some marketing. The next thing is when we are actually doing email broadcasts, to be able to generate some reports around that. So this is a very simple report on a particular campaign that was done. We can see it had a 44% open rate, which is pretty good. 35% unique clicks, very good. 100% delivered, 0% bounce, 0 unsubscribes, all fantastic. went to 86 recipients, 9% were rejected. I could drill into that and I'd probably find that it was duplicate email addresses, or the system will actually automate that if the emails keep bouncing of who you're emailing to, it will stop emailing to those addresses. That's really important because it protects what they call your sender reputation, which is sort of with all the ISPs. And that if you've got a good sender reputation, then your emails go directly to the inbox and not into the junk email folder. So you don't want to be pushing out thousands of emails to people that have left the organization, or where the email is bouncing. Obviously, the system will also automatically handle the unsubscribes. Every email has an unsubscribe link. You can actually choose not to include it, but you need to sort of use your discretion around that. But if people do unsubscribe, it won't allow you to market to them automatically again. We can sort of re-enable them, but essentially you won't accidentally re-email them. And it also shows them in CRM. It keeps their email in CRM, but it shows you that they have unsubscribed. So all those sorts of things. And then getting back to the report, we can see when they opened the emails over time and what links they clicked on and things of that nature. So the reporting is very good. And there's just some more reports. So that's probably everything to show on the reporting side of things. And that's pretty much the summary of the product. As I mentioned, it's mostly going to be used by the marketing people, your digital marketing person, or the person who you give the responsibility to do the digital marketing aspect. And but the salespeople will experience it through the CRM. And really, that is so critical. Like we're doing this in a way to be able to save time for the salespeople and get them better leads and get them spending more time with more sales ready leads. We don't want them just to be responding to doing a lot of busy work. We want them talking to people who are actually ready to talk. So I just thought I'd mention the pricing of the product. The price is $1,000 per month for Sugar, so 12K a year. It's actually, we've got Australian dollar pricing as an option now, so I think it's about 16,000 Australian dollars a year. You pay annually in advance. It is a lot more than something like MailChimp, but if you've done email marketing, it's a fairly cheap sort of thing, but when you look at all the cost of all those individual products, and we've had a number of clients look at all the products that Sugar, a marketing automation tool replaces, and that in some cases, justifies the investment in Sugar Market, just the fact that they can consolidate everything into the one tool. But really, it's an investment in building out your digital marketing capability, because you look at the if you invest in somebody to do digital marketing in your business and their salary, and look at how much time they can spend just trying to get all these systems working together, the fact that everything is all in the one platform and it's in very tight synchronization with the CRM, you really need to look at a combination of the right tool, like a marketing automation tool, and that person doing the digital marketing, and with having the ability to update content on your website. They're kind of like the three things that you need to be successful. Just a couple to finish. Couple of interesting statistics. The first one is the rate of return for email marketing. A very, very high return on investment. And for years, it's continued to be highlighted by marketers that even though it's not the most sexy, I guess, marketing tool, it's not TikTok or Facebook ads or something like that, or video, but it still really works. And the thing I would sort of say is that if you go and place advertisements in LinkedIn or Facebook or any of those sorts of platforms, and even in Google, not only is it very expensive, but your ads aren't necessarily being seen by everyone that you want, that could be seeing them. Whereas if you can get the email address of people that you want to work with, or your existing customers, those emails go through. You've got full control. You've got a direct line to people via email. So it's a very, very powerful tool. And I think organizations really need to be focusing on capturing those emails of as many leads and contacts as they can, and then using email marketing as a way to communicate to them directly. The next one, I've only got one more after this one, is that companies invest in marketing automation solutions see a 70% faster sales cycle time. Now, the reason for that is the nurture capability, because I've had this on numerous occasions whenever we are doing stuff in marketing automation, like we do it, if we send a customer, it's surprising when we send a customer newsletter out that somebody will contact us and say, oh, actually, we want to do this. It's got nothing to do in many cases of what was in the newsletter. It's just prompted them to then contact us about something else, that we've either spoken to them in the past or something that's new. So the prompts that it drives by regularly having email communication go out can really shorten those sales cycle times. And the final one is organizations with tightly aligned sales and marketing operations achieve a 27% faster 3-year profit growth. So a couple of things to highlight there is, the alignment between sales and marketing. Very often you have marketing people sales organizations are doing their thing and the marketing organization is doing their thing. And, it's sometimes hard to work out what commercial, like the salespeople have got quotas that they've got to hit. The marketing organization, what are their quotas? Often they're not revenue based. It's like, might be, increase the web traffic or get us more followers or whatever it might be. What we need to do is align sales and marketing around revenue goals, and we can track the marketing performance by through the marketing automation. So the Sugar Market and marketing automation in general will really help sales and marketing work together. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that it's sales and marketing operations. It's not necessarily the creative. Like, you guys have got a lot of content within the heads of your salespeople and within your business, a lot of experience, a lot of things happening. It's just getting the operational process of creating some content, and then setting up some campaigns, and then just and distributing them, and and a lot of that can be orchestrated through Sugar Market, and just by doing that, you're going to be doing a lot of marketing, and that will result in outcomes. And because we've got the alignment between sales and marketing, we can really focus on how that is performing over time and try and improve that. So final slide is just a summary of what I think a sales growth platform is for business. Everyone here has got a CRM system, but I think what you need is a CRM, and everyone here would have a website as well. I would say a lot of our clients are not adding new content to their website, but most people would probably be using WordPress and have the ability to add new content to their website. Now, I have to confess, our website is something that we haven't, invest a lot in, other than to make sure it looks professional and has the basic information, but we have been investing in adding a lot more blog content. These sorts of videos will go onto the website. Nick, who's working with, his job is to help us create content. He's got a sales role, but also a marketing role. So the way I've handled it is I've split Nick's role in sort of customer success and marketing. So as he's talking to customers, he's getting ideas for content, and he's helping me put these, I'm delivering these webinars, but a lot of the marketing that's happening, Nick is, managing through Sugar Market. So and Nick is working on sort of adding a lot of content to our website as well. So, the way we're doing it is we're sort of building out our website, and we're doing the marketing automation. And this is really what I think everybody needs to be doing. So CRM plus marketing automation plus the website, with a content management system like WordPress that you can kind of keep up to date. And you've got your sales team, a selling team that includes your existing salespeople, but somebody who's responsible for the digital marketing side of things, in a similar way to what Nick is working with us. They may be, Nick is sort of splitting between sort of a sales / customer success role and the marketing. In your business, it might warrant to have somebody doing that, or you may already have people in there that are kind of doing these things already and would just benefit from the tool. So that's that covers everything. So I will jump into some Q&A in a moment if anyone has any questions. So please complete, or add a chat or a question in the Q&A. And I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and we'll be doing more of these sorts of webinars over time on other things that are happening with Sugar as a way to keep you up to date with the product and ways that you can drive sales and marketing growth within your business. So I'll just jump into the chat and to see if we've got any further information. So just a couple of comments there saying that people have enjoyed the information, which is great. So yeah, I'll just hang around for any other questions. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's any questions at this stage, which is perfectly fine. So thanks everybody for attending. And look, if there's anything that we can do to help you get more value from Sugar, or in any way that we can help, we're very keen to do that. The most important group of people that we work with are you guys, our clients. So we're like a lot of businesses, we're always trying to get new clients and grow our business. But the way we want to do that is by making sure that you guys are getting great value from products like Sugar and Sugar Market, and that you're getting the results that these tools can help you with. So yeah, if there's anything we can do in that regard, please don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, thanks again for attending, and we'll look forward to talking soon.